Make America utopia, take away the economy from those who rigged it. As I see it, class warfare, the only resort to right wing doom. It's worth it. How to talk to your right wing relatives, friends, and neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, and to every nook and cranny receiving the signals from our 100,000 watt transmitters into those magical boxes known as radios, aka the Howard Reynolds machines. Anyway, folks, good morning to the entire world who listens to us via the internet, formerly known as the ARPANET, created by who? We the people. Let's get that again. Who created it? We the people. Whose intellect created it? We the people. Not the billionaires. That's not where our intellect lies. Anyway, folks, we got a lot to talk about. But before we get busy, we need to get to the geniuses in the studios, the guys that really make things happen, the guys that I cherish more than any billionaire out there. Brothers.
Jack and Howard.
Oh, all right. Oh,
No,
I missed it.
Just one genius this morning.
How you doing this morning, man?
I'm good. I'm laying on top of the daisies.
That's good. As long as you're on top of the daisies, we are happy.
All
You're
right.
not in there. You're not in there alone today, are you? Brother Howard is with you,
Yes.
isn't he? Okay, just
No,
checking.
no.
So what's up?
All right. My part is, this billionaire class warfare. Excuse me. This billionaire class warfare. Class warfare against the billionaire class. Hell yeah. They've used class warfare on the people since man decided to trick his fellow man into doing the work for the master. What would billionaire class warfare look like? How about cutting way back on consumption? Stop paying the people that are enslaving you. Save your money. Put off major purchases. Hit them in the economy and hold them accountable for the taxes they're not paying. A full-on grassroots movement to not spend, to save our way to freedom.
Amen. I agree so much, man. The thing about it is we need dissension among the people for them to succeed, and that's what they were great in doing. You know, today's title of the show, Jack, is My Take on Bernie Scolding Dems. Professor Class Warfare is the Solution, Project 2025 in Argentina. But before I get into any of that, in the mornings I get up, I do my spinning, and after I do my spinning, I get it to in the studio probably around, I don't know, maybe around 5:20 or so by the time I'm done doing all of that. And I get a chance to watch a lot of the news in the morning and take a look at a few papers. And I like to start with Morning Joe. I like Morning Joe. I like Mika Brzezinski, her style of journalism. And I think of all the people that are talking, the guys and everybody else that comes there, I think she's the one that really gets it the most. Now, I am very upset at the spin the media is using right now for the what many would call a shellacking in the this last election. Of course, it's not really a shellacking, right? I mean, if you don't call what Biden did in 2020 a shellacking, you can't call this a shellacking because, again, it was much more in 2020. That was a much broader win for Biden in 2020. If you take a look at the number of people that voted, if you take a look at, I mean, there's so much that if you took a look at, you'll say, wait a minute, this what we see here for this election is a trickle. Let me first categorically say Donald Trump won this election Donald Trump with won this election decisively, as decisive as an election in the United States could be. Kamala could have won this election with a few turnaround, a 1% turnaround in the three battleground states, but she would have won it without the popular vote based on the current trends. Okay? Which is not what we stand for. We stand for outright winning an election, and Brother Trump won this election. That said, one should explain, or one should be willing to ask the real question: why did he win? And the exit polls do a lot to tell you why he won. And why he won was a relentless disinformation that did not start during the election cycle. The disinformation started from the time he left. Well, I mean, he was a constancy of disinformation since the 2000s decades, the 2000s, when he started to put his feet into running for the election. He was always a bastion of disinformation, and the reason he became into power is he wasn't scared to get on TV. He wasn't scared to challenge anyone and look into their eyes and lie, ill inform, misinform, disinform, and do all of it. He did that wholeheartedly. And unfortunately, the mainstream media has never been equipped to challenge that type of politician, because what they believe in, as they learn in the schools of journalism, if you're not doing investigative journalism, which means you are going out not to simply pull out on a subject. If you're doing standard journalism where you're interviewing folks, you bring them on, you let them say their piece, you ask them a few questions to challenge their piece, get their response, but you're not fighting them, etc. And you get the other side story, and you give you give Americans the impression that you're being impartial, that you're being balanced. That is old style journalism that Donald Trump turned on its ear to win elections. And the mainstream media has been inept, completely inept at dealing with that. Let's go ahead and start from how Donald Trump came into power as he attacked Obama. When he attacked Obama with the birth certificate, the idea was to have people have doubts about Obama for a second term or even first term, right? That's what the birther movement was all about, to have people doubt Obama. And how did he do it? With the birther movement. Did anybody doubt who Obama's mother was? This white woman from Kansas. That was his mother. The birther movement should have never gotten traction, should have never existed if the mainstream media did its job and just said, so what if Obama was born in Kenya? So what if Obama was born in Indonesia? They had all kind of genesis to what Obama's genesis was. Where was he born? It didn't matter where Obama was born, because he would have been considered a natural born citizen because of who his mother was. Just like John McCain was born in the exact same hospital that I was born in, Cocosolo in Panama on the Canal Zone. While McCain is a natural born citizen because he had an American parent, I was a natural born Panamanian because my parents were Panamanians born in Panama. So the story should have ended right there. But the mainstream media, in its ineptitude, every time Donald Trump came and asked about papers, they gave it traction. And we can go over policy after policy. During the Obamacare debate where we were trying to get good health care for everyone. They allowed Sarah Palin's throw your mother off the cliff or death panels to get traction. How do you make those things get traction when what they were calling death panels or things insurance companies have done from their existence, private insurance companies with actuarial tables and much more? But again, failure of the mainstream media. Now, Donald Trump comes and he lies about having had a great economy himself. The mainstream media didn't say that. Looking at the way of the Obama economy was left for Donald Trump, or also they didn't point out the recovery that had to occur under the by the Obama administration again because another Republican came in and crashed the economy. Let's remember, Bush one came in, crashed the economy. Clinton cleaned it up with a balanced budget. I write all of this in my book. It's and again, this is not a plug. This is a fact that people need to understand. Uh, where I wrote this book called "As I See It: Class Warfare: The Only Resort to Right Wing Doom." I went through the whole sequence of presidents. Clinton came in, saved the economy, balanced the budget from Bush number one. Lies and the media allowed, first of all, a whole plethora of lies. Bush too didn't win the election, but still, he came in, crashed the economy again with the deregulation of the banking sector, not separating the investment banks from the regular banks and creating derivative. There's a long story to that, but again, crash the economy. Obama comes in, they repair the economy. Through lies and misinformation, again, Trump gets in the first time, crashes the economy again, caused again by his mismanagement of COVID, a screwed up supply chain created by the types of deregulation, the types of policies that did even more offshoring, killed the economy, killed people with a pandemic that shouldn't have been killed, lost power. Here comes Biden, comes in miraculously, and it's not him doing it, but miraculously, completely reverse the economy without and as inflation came up because of the greed of corporations, because of supply chains that they screwed up, brought down inflation without a recession, something called a soft landing, something we've always begged for and were never ever able to attain. But using massive Keynesian economics, we get Biden to have an economy that's recovered. Yes, a lot of people remained in pain, but that is recessive pain from the fallacy from what the Trump administration did in the way they handled the economic system. Not reported. So Trump continues with the lies about the genesis of your problem is because of Haitians eating cats and dogs. The genesis of your problems is because of inflation that was caused by the spending of the Biden administration. The cause of inflation is the cause of all everything was blamed on the policies that actually rebuilt the economy. And you know how we know that for a fact? The number one economy in the world. We are not having the 36% inflation certain European countries are having. We are not having the collapse of the economy that's going on in Germany right now. We are not having the big problems that we are having all over Europe. In fact, even the progressive, right? The liberal Wall Street Journal. Hey, nope, the Wall Street Journal ain't liberal. The Wall Street Journal is conservative. And they said whoever inherits this economy is getting a hell of an economy. Wall Street Journal. In other words, if you're inheriting the Biden's economy, you're inheriting a hell of an economy. Yet, if you go ahead and take a look at the information most Americans are getting, including the ones that are in dire straits right now, the information that they're getting is that this was done to you by Biden because of their support for immigrants, of their support for trans, all these other things metastasizing in the minds of Americans, metastasizing in the minds of Americans. Why? Because they were unchallenged, because our elitist consultants for the left that wouldn't know a middle class person in their life, didn't know how these middle class people got their information, didn't know how to speak to these middle class people, didn't know how to speak to our brothers and sisters in rural America, didn't know to speak to the Latino guy in the middle of the country, didn't know how to do that. They spent Kamala Harris had over $1 billion to spend. Did bloggers get any of the money? The ones that are closest to the people? No. Did a politics done right get donations from different organizations to say educate people, educate people? No. The monies went directly to all these $10,000 a day consultants that look at numbers and told people how to do things, but had no interaction with actual human beings, had no interaction with people who knew. And now that Donald Trump has won again, we have the punditry, the same inept mainstream media punditry, saying how great a win Donald Trump had because the Democrats just didn't understand the people and Trump understood the people. No, Trump made the people. Trump understood one thing that's important. If you're in a vacuum, just about anything can fill that vacuum. If I have a vacuum tube and I bust it on Mars, it will be filled with carbon dioxide. If I bust it on America, on Earth, it will be filled with nitrogen and oxygen and rare gases. A vacuum is filled with whatever is there to fill it. And if you have ineptitude and lies, it will be filled with lies. Yesterday, Robinson on Joe Scarborough's show said, when I spoke to people in Pennsylvania, the one thing that hit me was how ill-informed they were. The things that they said bore no resemblance to reality, but they believed it to their core because they heard it over and over and over again. And if you take a look at Donald Trump's modus operandi, it is to repeat his lies over and over and over again. So much so that the mainstream media gets tired of challenging it, but do not refute it. And that is what they're doing again. Now they are talking about all these big changes that the Democratic Party needs to make. Maybe they need to start thinking about more tax cuts. Maybe they need to start thinking about not moving to the left and providing the services. But then again, the mainstream media fails to realize that when asked the questions as far as what all these people that voted for Donald Trump voted for, when asked, do you want family leave? 80% says yes. Do you want to have access to medical care paid for by all or tax basis, Medicare for all? 70-something% of the people say yes. You ask them all the things that progressives ask. You don't tell them these are progressive values. You ask them if you want these policies. They say yes. They're not saying let's jump to tax cut for billionaires. They're not saying let's pollute the water. They're not saying let's unregulate businesses so that they can do as they please. That is not what they're asking for. They're asking for a better life. They're saying, give me a life. Give me a life where I can be happy. And the pundits on TV, the millionaires on TV are saying, I guess Trump got the people. Trump understood the people. If your vote is based on a lie that you believe, is the other party faulty with their policies, or is the other party faulty with how they get information to you? And complicit with that, a incompetent, derelict mainstream media. And that is the answer. An incompetent, derelict media that assumes you, the people, are stupid. And they assume that because they don't think that if they explained things to you as they are throughout your busy day, that you will understand. And that is the fight. That is the fight. That anybody calling themselves a progressive, that is the fight that anybody calling themselves an activist must go through. The punditry in America is shot, filled with elitists who wouldn't know a poor person or a middle class person if they met them. I want to talk to my rural brothers and sisters that were so ill informed. I want to talk to all my people who were completely ill informed and made a decision that will throw us so backwards. Not the rich folks. The rich folks are going to do well. The upper 10% are going to do great. The top 20% are going to tread water and do fine. They won't move in status. But, brothers, the most of the people who voted for this guy, their life is going to change. They don't know it yet, but their life is going to change. All right, let's go ahead and go to John. Come on in, John.
Hey, Humberto, that was quite a talk you just gave, man. It's too logical and too intelligent for what really happened. I tried to simplify it because I didn't call your program. I didn't listen to the news since Tuesday. It just I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
handle it. My mind just I don't know if it was more like somebody died, like somebody in my
Mm-hmm.
family died. That's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I gets back to when I called you when Kamala got selected and placed as a candidate, and I told you this, and you were very to use the word you just used, progressive about your thoughts about it, and very positive and very uplifting. But it turns out that I was correct, and
Absolutely.
I listened to all the intelligent talk, and you just talked about as intelligent as anybody I've ever seen on TV. And I agree with you. The media did a horrible job, but they did a horrible job 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They did
Hey,
a horrible job during the Obama years when Obama was trying to accomplish something, and the media just didn't really get with it. So they've been doing it a long time. But I told you this is very basic. You can talk about economics, the world, whatever issue you want to talk about, but it gets back to the same old thing I grew up with and you grew up with in this country, and that's racism. And then people say, "Oh, you want to bring up the race card?" Well, you know what? If it fits, wear it, because
let
that's
me,
what this.
John. John, first of all, you are so right. You were right. I was wrong. Okay. And I think I came on this the very day after the election, and I apologize. I apologize to the world. I apologize to my audience that say I just I was looking at America through colored glasses, right? Because I
Yeah,
was looking
we all want to. We want to do that.
yeah.
We all
But
want
here's
that.
the yeah, but here's the thing, John. You know, a lot of times you have to bring the proof. Let me give a great example, right? In North Carolina, a Trumpian black guy lost, who was running for governor, lost in a landslide. A white guy, Democrat, won decisively, and Kamala Harris in that same North Carolina lost. I mean, when for people who want to color or color quote something, yes. Look, a tape that I want to play today from Dr. Theis, a great professor at Lone Star College, where I would go, I'd sit in on some of his classes every so often to learn. I love learning stuff, right? he pointed out that he came onto my show on my 3 o'clock show yesterday, and he said, Egberto, racism did play a big part about it. But also you need to learn something. And I told him, thank you, because you're right. In as much as I knew that, I understand that I need to start changing the way I say certain things and push it. He said the one thing as a marketer that Trump understood is that you have to find a boogeyman. You have to find somebody to blame. And you can be right. It doesn't matter that you're right. Yes, Kamala lost because of racism in many ways. The same women who voted in those amendments to protect abortion rights voted against her, even as her policies
Right.
mirrored what these women wanted. Okay. So he said, however, Obama was different. Remember, I've mentioned this many times on the
Yeah.
show. When people went canvassing for Obama in Pennsylvania, when a guy was asked, who are you voting? His wife was asked, who are you voting for? And the wife turned to her husband and said, honey, who are we voting for? And things were
Right.
so
I've
bad.
seen that.
He said, I'm
Yeah.
voting for the N word guy. That is how you know you've made the
Right.
crossover. But, John, look, first of all, I need to go. The phone lines are full and I want to get to them. I want
Yeah.
to tell you,
Yeah. I
you were
understand.
right. I want to say it first again. You were right. I was wrong. Now,
Well,
what do we
last
do
thing,
from here?
somewhere along the line, explain the 14 million people that didn't vote.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. But again,
All
what we
right.
have to do is learn. We learn from our mistakes, and we learn how from our activism what has to get done. Thank you, brother. You have a blessed rest
And
of your day.
thank you for the talk, man. Thank you for the talk. I appreciate it. Bye.
You take care now. Let's go to Patty. Come on in, Patty.
My responsibility and duty as an informed citizen is to hold my congressman in Washington to his oath of office to protect and defend the Constitution against our newly elected leader who wanted to terminate or suspend the Constitution when he lost. I will remind him of this oath as often as necessary, as I've been doing since he signed on to Paxton's case before the Supreme Court trying to overturn our election results in 2020. To me, that was a breach of his oath of office. I kindly told him it was poor judgment, but I will remind him every day if I need to of his responsibility going forward.
Patty, thank you so kindly for that. Let's remember, and what I love out of your voice, Patty, is that the Trump win doesn't mean you're going to go into your shell. It means that you're going to be an active participant in our politics. And notice I said our politics. This country doesn't belong to a few, it belongs to us all. Thank you so kindly, Patty. Anything else?
Just that our democracy is only lost if we let it be lost.
You nailed it.
We
You
have a
nailed it,
new
sister.
we have a new vice president who says we need to get over our phobia against dictators. I disagree.
Thank you, sister. You have a great one. All right, let's go to Harry. Come on in, Harry.
Good morning, Brother Roberto. Good morning, Magic Jack, and good morning to Howard, wherever you are. Well, I like the way Ray closed your show, this program yesterday, when he said a lot of stupid people. Well, and it's because of what you were saying there in your soliloquy, Roberto, about the main media not doing a good job, Trump getting up there telling all these lies. We know he inherited Obama's economy. I will say this. I do think young people don't understand when I was saying that yesterday, I should have said young people. I think the young generation, the millennials, don't understand who Donald Trump really is. And, they'll have to find out what he is when he starts trying to do a lot of these crazy things, deporting people and crashing the economy. If that does indeed happen, I know, Roberto, you and I as black men in this country have to worry and I like what Neil Aquino did say yesterday, that we'll be targeted, we will always be targeted, but under Trump, because Trump, with all this divisiveness and hatredness, the police that'll be a green light for the police to target black men. Now, there was a guy I was reading up on when Trump was president the first time, a guy by the name of Andre Hill, a Benjamin Crump, who's been doing all these civil rights things for black people that get gunned down and get killed. He was gunned down and killed because he had keys, he had a cell phone. Police officer is going to prison. His name is Adam Fox because he thought it was a gun. And Trump, being under Trump, is going to be the green light for that when he's talked about he wants an hour of violence for the police when he gets elected. All that is dangerous, and we just have
Harry, I want to stop you there because there's even yet another thing for those of us who are ethnic looking and with citizenship, but naturalized citizenship. This guy is, he said he would do it, and that is he would attempt to be able to revoke things that the government has already made law. In other words, naturalization as a U.S. citizen, etc. Hey, all of that is up in the air now. Again, it's a fundamental change in the system when it comes to what the police officers will be emboldened to use their prejudices. There's no doubt about that. Okay. But the interesting thing about myself and police officers is I've always treated police officers with utmost respect, even as they've demeaned when I get stopped or whatever. So it will be no difference. But what I'm saying is now they have carte blanche. The police has carte blanche because that's what he promotes. That's what he promotes. But my lines are full, Harry. Say a quick 10 seconds so I can move on.
I wanted to say this yesterday. You talked about Patrick and Ray, a movie that they talked about on your 3 o'clock show. I wanted to know what that movie is so I can look at it.
I tell you what, Patrick is in the queue. He'll be able to tell you a little bit more about it, but we'll go there. I have it in my queue as well. Thank you, Harry. Gotta go.
About my
I'm sorry. I was. All right, let's go to Johnny. Come on in, Johnny.
Contrast to this morning to the other morning when I spoke to you, and I was in the kitchen starting my day, listening to the transition music from Arnie to your show, and I wasn't floating around feeling very anxious, and it occurred to me, in anticipation of hearing your voice in the next few minutes, that who needs Prozac when we've got Egberto Willies? It takes a village, doesn't it? In order for Egberto to get to your house in the morning, you need Magic Jack, you need Captain Reynolds rap, you need the intern station manager, all the people that are responsible.
We need the audience that are the ones who are responsible for allowing us to do this. Continue, Johnny.
And in that vein, to just one of our fellow time travelers, who very likely is a contributor as well, I would remind him that 14 million that he cited, that represents approximately 20% of what the Democratic candidate would have gotten or should have gotten. But let's not forget, we're not just talking about an anger reaction against the Democrats. We also have to quantify over time, over the next year, how many people voted and did not get to vote because their registrations were canceled. We just can't leave it up to Greg Palast by himself to do this. We can't leave it up to the reporters who worked on the 2000 campaign to prove, to quantify that what's his face, the environmental guy.
That Gore actually won. Let me hold a second, Johnny, because thank you for bringing that up, Johnny. I should have put that in my monologue. Gore, months after it was proven that Gore won the election, it was proven that Gore won the election in Florida. And is that a narrative that you hear on TV, something that you should hear these mainstream media people remind Americans about a lot? You don't hear it. But Gore won the election. Go ahead.
only at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning for a brief period on in the mainstream media, and the people that hear that are usually young people, not people like me. I'm
Right.
a rare bird that sometimes I catch this stuff because I leave the radio running in order to get to sleep. I cannot sleep in a dead sound house. I've been that way my whole life, so I might be the exception to the rule. But yeah, it's they know how to let pieces of the truth out, and they do it when in sneaky ways late at night for the young people to disengage them, to make them feel disempowered. That's what it does really when you think about it, because in the daytime when they're awake, going to school, going to their part-time job, whatever, and they see what the mainstream media does, they see the difference, they experience that delta, and like you said, the vacuum tube analogy, we don't come about in a vacuum. I am not the way I am because I was brought up in a test tube. I'm not a test tube baby. And my next door neighbor, who's a die-hard Republican, he did not come about in a vacuum. He's a product of the media he consumes. I'm a product of the media I consume. And sometimes those two never meet. And that's what we have to figure out how to solve. Anyway, thank you,
Exactly.
Mr. Post. Have a good
Th- Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate you. Really appreciate you. All right, let's go to Brother Jacob.
Yeah. Hey, Umberto, check it out, man. I even vote for Trump. I know you know that. I didn't vote for Trump. But, bro, it's not, y'all act like people, you and that, Ray calling people stupid, like they stupid, and you, he a clown. And he can call me out, talking about he walking, I'm from straight shots out. He'll walk past me and look down. Look, they lost, bro. And the reason, the extremes on the right and the left, they was doing too much. Both of them was doing too much. And both in politics, they both be lying. They was lying about women's health. They should have. People read through abortions. People. That's just a lie. And y'all trying to convince us, no, it's women's health. They need help, and it's going to affect my daughter. Are you kidding me? That's just a lie, and people wasn't buying it. And Obama had 8 years. Trump been in there 4 years, bro. They bring it to us. Oh, the police. Y'all be scared of the police now. Man, the police been doing what they been doing since my ancestors been here. What you think they called it all? It's from the overseers, from the plantation. They've been doing what they doing. Act like it's gonna be an extra. Oh, y'all better be scared now. Plus, first of all, Trump. We talked about it. Trump went to the brothers. And we was just talking yesterday. I was out around downtown, and the brothers like, they don't understand. Trump messed with the brothers. He messed with the brothers. And you know what? And they talk about he is a felon. He gonna mess with him even more. Get ready for the prison. The pardon. He gonna pardon him. He gonna pardon. But other than that, he was coming with Ice Cube. He's like, Cube, look, I want them specifically. I've got a 500K, we don't call it the platinum plan, and one will break them off some money. And then the upper black elites who think they so smart. No, he's a rapper. What? He's a businessman. He's a movie director. He owns a movie company. He owns a basketball league. This is a top-notch entrepreneur businessman who understands Trump. 50 took a picture with Trump, showed a picture with Trump. 50, these guys are getting real money on the extra large, and these people are not dumb as y'all think they is. And look, and you
Okay,
use
now,
a
okay,
good
hold
guy.
on, Jacob. I gave you a whole 2 minutes and 33 seconds. So let me answer you with a few things. Do not. It is okay for you to think something is so, but it's not necessarily so. Women's rights, even the women that voted against Kamala Harris, they went ahead and supported all the laws that needed to be changed to ensure that they maintain their rights. So yes, they voted against Kamala, but they believed her. Jacob, did I interrupt you? All right.
No.
Thank you. So please be quiet to hear what I'm saying, my brother. All right. Now, as far as the women are concerned, the women in all those red states that put up those laws to ensure abortion was a right, all those laws were passed with flying colors, except Florida, where it missed it by 3 points, but it was still 57%. So no, women want their reproductive
Okay, yeah,
rights.
okay, that's the Supreme Court.
I did,
The
sir. I
Supreme
did
Court.
not interrupt
And
you,
Trump
sir.
wants
Please,
to okay,
Jacob.
all right.
I didn't once interrupt you for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So
All right,
please let
I
me
said
answer the
okay.
questions. Thank you. All right. Now, now as it turns out, so women do support their reproductive rights. They just didn't vote for Kamala. Number two, when it comes to what Trump did in the black community with some of the bros, you're absolutely right. He went and he sat with a few of the bros and some rappers and all of that. And just like I have said for a very long time, just like white businessmen have prostituted white and black people alike, black businessmen do the same thing. It's called capitalism. Capitalism isn't about race or anything like that. Capitalism is about exploitation. And the capitalist exploits everybody, and race is just one of the tools capitalism use to screw us all, to take away and exploit. So there's nothing magical about Donald Trump going in with the rappers and some rappers going in with Donald Trump. They exploit all their people
Now
and
see, now you
everybody.
broke it down. Now you
Uh,
talking about
oh
rappers.
my,
Mm,
oh my God! Let me. You can't discipline, brother. Discipline.
okay, all
Okay.
right.
Now, now that is what has happened. So when it comes to your arguments have modicums of truth, but some of the analysis from it, my brother, is where I think we need to explore some more. Now, Jacob, you call every day, and I have a full house, and we're at 41. Let's
I
continue
understand.
the
I
discuss.
understand that.
Let's continue the discussion at another time, okay?
But
All right, let's go to let me see. Patrick's been on hold for a long time. Come on in, Patrick.
Good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Hey, have you ever been slapped by a pacifist?
No.
All right. Well, if I hear you apologize again, I'm going to slap you. You didn't do anything wrong.
All right, Patrick, I'm sorry. Oh, look, and I did it again. I did it again. Okay, talk to me, brother. Talk to me.
This is on all the people that you are trying to help, that you spent your time, your free time, the time away from your family. You put everything you could into this, and people didn't respond. This isn't on you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. I understand, sir.
All right. If you keep apologizing because you don't know how to react to people making a very bad decision, it's not going to make sense to me. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but it just doesn't make any sense. But
I hear you. And you know what? I better correct myself now because you and I are going to coffee, and I sure don't want you to slap me with the first thing when we meet, man. Go ahead, Patrick.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, we're already talking about what we're going to do in 2 years. I think that you might consider preparing people for what's happening between now and then.
Yeah,
We're about to wage war on ourselves. We're about to start exporting people that have been helping us, and probably the fastest way to make a terrorist is to turn somebody away that doesn't need to be turned away. People came here for help, and they turned around and they paid us back by working very hard and being good quote unquote citizens. I know people are going to say they're not citizens. Well, they are if they live here, in my mind. So I think these people are going to start organizing. They're going to push back, and then when
I agree.
the world economy gets tanked, yeah, when the world economy tanks and other countries start going belly up and they understand it's because of our decisions, we're gonna start dealing with what we were dealing with 20, 25 years ago. The memory is so short on the people here in the United States. We voted him out for a reason. He had the lowest rating of any president ever, and we turned around and we elected him because the competition was a minority. It blows my mind. But this guy is the most vindictive person I've ever seen, and we just put him in charge of a doomsday device at the end of his life.
Amazing, isn't it? Wow, Patrick, that is strong. But I never thought about it that way. He has a doomsday device when he doesn't have a lot of life left. Man, That's a good thing. Hey, Patrick, my phones are filled up. Before I let you go, remember what's the name of the movie again that you sent me? I have it in my queue, but Harry wanted to know.
I did a lot of reading before I watched it, and I was ready for it. But it's called "What a Way to Go: Life at the End of Empire." It's about 15 years old, and what's good about it is it predicts a lot of what's already happened, and it's going to really give you perspective on. We're worried about who's using our bathrooms while the world around us is absolutely falling apart.
Thank you, Patrick. Give the name one more time.
What a way to go! Life at the End of Empire. You can find it on YouTube. It's 2 hours long.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Now that you explain it that way, I think I better watch it sooner than later. Thank you, Patrick. You have a wonderful rest of your day. All right, let's go to Donald.
Hey, good morning, Alberto. How are you?
Good. I'm doing fine, my brother. Talk to me.
It's good to see that you're back finally. Good recovery. Because you know what? If your butt hurt and you got your head up there, it's probably going to hurt a little bit more. So let's get our heads out of our butts and start looking forward. That being said, why don't you explain to everybody that this is going to be a sugar high? This drill, and then go back to what the commissioner that was running for the railroad explained to everybody, but he didn't get it, that these wells we're going to have to cap, they're going to leak, and how many billions of dollars it's going to cost for a temporary sugar high. That's what was fixing to happen, and go into it explaining it. And
Donald,
that's all I got to say.
Donald,
Good work.
first of all, Donald, I want to thank you, brother. You are an enigma to me so many times. That was spot on. That was spot on. We'll talk later, brother. Peace.
Later.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
All right. Let's go to Betty. Come on in, Betty.
Good morning, Alberto.
Good morning, beautiful. How you doing?
You had a good start on your show. It was good, but remember, it is electronics, and you have a bunch of transistors wrapped in silicone is what you're dealing with now.
Yes.
And waking up in the morning is still Heartbreak Hotel, but what we have inside us is our heart and you. And it's really still half of America, and the ones that didn't learn to vote early. I learned to vote at 21 years old. You had to be 21 years old then. My mother-in-law had one child, my husband, and I learned to vote about that and the world and my neck of the woods. And that's what it is. They need to learn to vote early, not, the day before. And the ones that voted for Trump, I'm going to say this, they are buzzard meat.
Betty, Betty, let me say something here, right? The pain of this loss to me is now gone. What's left is the disappointment with action. In other words, with redoubling the activism that we do. And one of the things I'm going to be promoted, that my activism is no longer being on the streets like I used to be with all the indivisible and the Black Lives Matter and all these things. I'm getting older, but my activism is with the internet, with the articles, with the things. And what a friend called me yesterday, and she said, "Egberto, what can I do?" And she's older, and I said, "Look, you are already an activist. You support what these young folks are doing right now, but also you can play a part with your blogs, you can play a part with the people that you meet at the store. You can play a part with the articles that you write on your Facebook page, everything. You can be a participant. You are an activist. We are all activists. So what I'm going to tell you, Betty, yes, you're waking up with that pain. Turn that pain into disappointment and action, because the pain stops us from moving. I tell you, after I saw Claire McCaskill talk about Kamala Harris, a couple of tears came down. After I heard Joanne Reed look up and said, "My God, we did our part. Why didn't you?" a tear came down and said, "My God, are we ever going to change?" And then I said to myself, "Of course we're going to change. I mean, we have changed. We have gone 10 steps forward, a few steps backwards. 10 steps forward, we're going to do it. So stay positive, Betty. We'll talk tomorrow, all right?
Okay, that was heart feeling, and I. That's the thing is, Alberto, is people have a hang up in them about blacks and race and about anything else about woman in there. They have a hang up in them, and you, me, Jack, and Howard, we don't have that hang up in us. Love you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you, sister. Love you too, girl. Let's go to Brian. Come on in, Brian. And guys, we have to go into about 40 seconds now because we're at 50 and the lines are still full. Come on in, Brian. How you doing, brother?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Talk to me.
Okay. Here's something that's not going to get press coverage either. Kamala Harris' campaign raised $1.2 billion, and now she's $19 million in debt.
Mm-hmm.
Your friend Trump, Tom Hartman, said that Trump's campaign had $10 billion. That's incorrect.
No, he had $300 million. Yeah, that's incorrect. Let me tell you. Okay, let me tell you. I covered. Brian, you are right. The mainstream media isn't covering it. And you know why they're not covering it? Because they are the ones who squandered that money. You are so right about that, Brian. Let me tell you a bit better. Kamala got 1 point something billion dollars from all of you out there. KPFT tries like hell to raise money to really inform people so that those lies don't get through. Like I mentioned in my soliloquy, all these people out there are sitting down in ivory tower making hundreds of thousands of dollars. All my brothers and sisters on the streets in Houston and Pittsburgh and all of that, most of them are doing it on a volunteer basis or minimum wage type salaries. You are right, brother. Trump did it with 300 and something 30 with $330 million with getting devoted people, and he won enough to win. Brian, call me tomorrow. I got to go to Moses, but thank you for bringing that up. In this case, bro, you're right. Come on in, Moses.
I am not disappointed. I am not afraid. I am more energized.
There you go,
Because
sis.
this battle, like I said, belongs to God. Now, number one, the mainstream media, the beast gave power to the dragon. And we know if we
I
follow.
like that.
Now, there is a hook. There was a hook in the jaws of the people, causing them to make mistakes. Now, the eyes are going to be opened. The veil that is on the eyes of the people will be pulled out now. Then, a vile man is sent against a hypocritical nation. The hypocrisy of America is come before judgment. And lastly, let me say, the young folks are energized to fight for their future. Notice that they did not, some of them who stood down, they said they would not vote. And they did not vote because they did not accept the mandate of Donald Trump and his base.
All right, sister, I got to go to Art. Sister,
Amen.
thank you so kindly. Thank you so kindly for your words. Let's go to Art. Come on in, Art. Brother Art, you're on. 10, 9, 8. All right, let's go to John. John, you're on.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning,
Hello?
sir. Talk to me. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, my thing is, nobody's talking about two things here. Number one, just like you said, all the people making money are the MSNBCs, the Fox Newses, the CNNs. Those are the guys making the money.
Yes.
And when you talk about reality show, the whole TV network is a reality show. And if you talk about the algorithm for TikTok, that is 24 hours news that gets you hooked up, this is the first TikTok. This was CNN, if you think about it. Because they had this loop that keeps you in a loop with breaking news. It's giving you this high all the time. I want to see what's happening. It's just an addiction and an addiction and addiction. They don't feed us nothing. But anyway, I just want to say one thing. If you guys want to reform the Democratic Party, it's the black women who have the power to change the Democratic Party. And it's about goddamn time that they stood up for something and demanded something from the DNC instead of running all these people and voting for the Democrats. And it's almost like the elites are telling them who they're going to deal their money to. Because if the money goes, like Joe Biden, once the money dries up, whoever the candidate is the one they want. So it's about time they have the power to change the DNC, but they have refused to. Instead, they're crying in victimhood and telling people how they're powerless. They have the power.
That's a very, something, John. Thank you for that, and you're right. I think it's going to take the younger generation to do it because you know how the old style is. Then that is they're set in their ways. But you nailed it, brother. Thank you so kindly. We'll speak whenever you call again. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, Harry, you got 15 seconds.
Okay, the first John that called, one of those, I was listening to On the Middle yesterday, and one of those Hispanic women was talking about what Ralph Nader and what Bernie Sanders was saying, that the Democrats have abandoned the labor working party, and they need to have more people that think like Ralph Nader and Bernie Sanders get listened to, and the progressive people like you, Roberto, and Johnny, so that they can, so that people will come out and vote for him. And she said she was
Thank you.
happy
You got John, Harry. You got it. And by the way, I did a piece on Bernie. It's at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, and it reiterates some of what you just said. Anyway, I got to get out of here, studio.
Right. All right.
Nothing here.
What about Howard? Isn't there? Okay.
No.
All right. Let's do it this way, folks. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank all of you for listening. I want to also thank all of you for the comments. I have to try not to apologize completely when I'm wrong, because otherwise Patrick is going to slap me when we meet for coffee, but we're going to have a good time. Anyway, folks, look, love you all. Love the callers. You guys are the best, and I mean that. You make this program, and you enlighten many people. My name is Egberto Willis. Politicsdoneright.com/newsletter is where the rest of the program is. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
It's time now